All right, guys, I'm back for another weekly update. This is for the week of December the 12th. And before I get started, I just want to remind you, if you haven't joined my pro site, I'd invite you to do that. You can join at www.patreon.com/Ohio Valley Weather, and you'll see a lot of extra information regarding the weather of the Ohio Valley there. All right, so let's get into this. And let's start by looking at the ENSO, or the El Nino Southern Oscillation. And as you can see, we are still in a La Nina. For a few days this week, it looked like we were trending a little more negative and possibly going to reach down around the 1 degree below normal mark, which would put us in a moderate La Nina. But as you can see, it has started to trend back up a little bit. So at least for now, the La Nina is going to remain weak. However, even though it is a weak La Nina, you can see that we do have strong high pressure over the Pacific Ocean, which is what we would expect from a La Nina. And so that's causing these lows, which are the storms, to track way up north, close to Alaska, and then they drop down into United States. And of course, that was part of the pattern that I was expecting for us to see this winter. Now, let's look at what's happening with the AO, or the Arctic Oscillation. So since about the end of November and beginning of December, the AO went strongly positive. And when the AO is strongly positive, that means that the cold Arctic air basically stays locked in up around the North Pole. But you can see it has been trending more negative. And now coming up, it looks like we're not sure where it's going to go. We have a pretty strong negative trend for at least a few more days. But then over the next couple of weeks, it's hard to say where it's going to end up. If the AO can end up on the negative side, then we can definitely expect to see Arctic air making its way southward into the United States. And of course, that would include the Ohio Valley. But right now, there's a lot of uncertainty as to where the AO is going to end up. With the PNA has been trending negative since the beginning of December. And of course, when the PNA is negative, that means that we get colder temperatures over the western United States. And so when the PNA goes negative, it tends to favor warmer temperatures in the eastern United States. And that's definitely what we've been seeing here. We had a slightly cooler temperatures today in the Ohio Valley, but this week we are expecting it to warm back up again. And that, again, has a lot to do with this negative PNA. But you can see that we're starting to see a little bit of a positive trend. It's hard to say if it may actually go positive, but at least it's trending towards positive somewhat at this time. And so this is the temperature anomaly map based on the CSF. And this is for today. And so I want to look at this as it goes out even further. So I'm going to go to that and we'll look at that on a loop. So this is today, again, Sunday, December 12th. And if we push this forward, you could see pretty much normal temperatures for the Ohio Valley early this week. A little bit of a warm up Wednesday. And then by Thursday, things are really warming up. You can see there in Columbus, we're looking at 20 to 25 degrees above normal for the Ohio Valley. But by Friday, that warmer air starts to move off, but it still stays warm. And by Saturday, we still see the warmer temperatures trying to hang on, but they're starting to move off. And by Sunday, the 19th, you can see we have this blast of cold air coming into the central United States. And by Sunday morning, you can see the Ohio Valley has returned to pretty much normal temperatures. But then as we push further into Monday, things are staying pretty normal. But if we push a little further now, this is into Wednesday, the 22nd, we start to see a cool down. And if you watch my last video, you know I was predicting that we may see things change back to a more winter-like pattern on or shortly after December 20th. And so the CFS model is still seeming to indicate that around the 20th, we should see things return to normal. And by the 22nd, we could see temperatures go below normal. All right, so now let's go back to the presentation and take a look at that. All right, so this is back to that. Now, I also want to show you what the CFS is predicting precipitation-wise, because if that pattern plays out the way it looks like it's going to, then we would expect to see a more winter-like pattern return to the Ohio Valley shortly after the 20th. So now let's go to this loop of the precipitation pattern. And you can see again, this now is for today. And right now we've got this southeastern ridge over the southeastern United States, high pressure. And so that's bringing warm air up here from Texas and the Gulf of Mexico. This is that pattern that brought those tornadoes a few days ago. But there's no low here that would do anything like that. But we're just still going to see a warmer than normal temperatures. As we keep pushing this forward, you can see that high starts to move off. And so that's going to allow for the pattern change to come back to the eastern United States, where we should see a more winter-like pattern. Here we are to the 16th and into the 17th, a little bit of rain. But now you can see the colder air pushing down, and this is going to push over towards the east. Here we are the 18th and into the 19th and the 20th, and now you could see the 540 line is below the Ohio Valley, and so colder temperatures returning by the 20th, as I've been saying. But does that mean snow? Not necessarily right away, but here we have the CFS showing a mix of rain, freezing rain, and snow coming into the Ohio Valley by Tuesday the 21st, and by the 22nd, it has this wrapping up into a pretty good snowstorm for the Northeast and including the Ohio Valley. If we push forward a little more, you can see high pressure moving in there, protecting us. But here's a couple little clippers. There's a clipper on the 26th. And then we have this low. This would be like the Colorado low out here on the 27th, making its way across. And it brings a little bit of snow to the Ohio Valley by the 28th. But if we push this further out, even into January, we could see definitely a more winter-like pattern with snow. Here's another snow. This is January 2nd coming into the Ohio Valley. And then we have that followed by another one on the 4th. And so it looks like the CFS model is definitely picking up on this pattern change. Again, after the 20th of this month, it looks like we'll have a return to more normal winter weather. And it looks like we could have a parade of snowstorms starting around the last week of December and into the first part of January. We push this forward again. There's another one coming around the 5th. So you can see just one right after another. Here's another one for the 7th. And so again, I don't know if this will play out yet, but it's definitely looking like winter conditions and one snow right after another as we start into the month of January. And so let's just go back to the presentation now. And so again, if you haven't joined my pro site, I invite you to do that. That's at www.patreon.com/Ohio Valley Weather. And I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next week.